Okay, cool. Hi, Country Changers. Welcome back to another feature month. And this month we are featuring Temora. And with me today, I've got Lauren Carr. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Lauren, you're what we classify a returner, meaning you have returned back to your hometown of Temora. Just tell us a little bit about your backstory and what brought you home to Temora.
Yeah, so I left straight out of school and went to Canberra. Kind of came back and forward. I was traveling overseas and doing what young people do, and then met my partner, and we decided that we were going to move up to the Gold Coast. So we went and spent 5 years there, and then did another 4 in Brisbane. So I was working on some major projects up there. So I worked on the Commonwealth Games, and one that's currently still going is the Cross River Rail project. So a big underground rail for Brisbane. So I did some big jobs up there, and yeah, and then we decided to pack up and ship back.
So just for context for people watching this, Lauren is in the field of communications. So Lauren's actually brought a lot of her skills back to the Shire Council. So she's taken on a role there with the very progressive council there, and you work for TBEG as well as the executive officer. Tell us a little bit about TBEG.
Yeah, so TBEG's our business chambers in town. So I've been working with them. I think I started in March last year, took on the executive officer role. Really, I'm working on events, on promotion of our businesses. So we do some monthly meetings, network meetings. We're working on a big project at the moment for the region, actually around HR, and working through how difficult it is to get HR advice in a country town, but also to recruit, to keep people, particularly if they're coming into town. So what the challenges are there, and trying to help and assist businesses as best we can.
Well, that's a great segue because I was actually going to ask this as my next question. We're seeing a skills shortage across the Riverina, Murray, and across all regional areas, to be honest. So there's a lot of attraction programs going on. There's a lot of employers looking at ways to attract people. So I guess one of the misconceptions is that people think that if you move to a country town, you're going to go down or backwards in up that career ladder. Tell me about your experience and what you're witnessing.
Yeah, so my experience is that I guess I feel really grateful that I get to bring my skills back to town. I've worked in communications and change management for a very long time, and it's something I guess that every business and every community really does need, and it's a growing kind of industry. So I'm very lucky in that sense. And my partner's a welder, so there's always jobs out here in that space as well. So we were very lucky coming back into town and being able to bring those skills, but there was no shortage of job opportunities that we could pick from. And we're still, getting asked to do other things, and whether that's community work or whether that's other businesses knocking on our door. Don't tell the council, but no. But very happy where I am. And I think it's around, we do notice at council that there's a lot of people around my age group, which is around that late 30s, 40s, that move back to town and bring their skills back, which we really do want to encourage, because it's great to go out and live your life, and but there's so much that we can offer in a small community that you don't get in the city. So, and it's around the 2-minute drives to work and schools, and going down to the parks and the facilities that we have here, the events that they put on for free, for nothing. So there's a lot of benefits to coming back. But I think the main note is that if you've got a skill, you'll be snapped up if you come back to town.
Yeah, and there is that diversity of opportunities, as you mentioned earlier, which definitely adds to the vibrancy of the community. As I said before, Temora Shire Council is one of the most progressive councils probably I've ever come across in anywhere in Australia. And that's really, I've seen that transform the region over the past 10 years in particular. Um, with that sort of vitality, with that vibrancy, with that forward progression, there are those career opportunities that we're talking about. But one of the things, excuse me, that I've noticed as well is that strong community connection and that desire to give back to the community. And statistically, you've got a lot of volunteers. So if you could just tell me a little bit about, I guess, how the community is giving back and just how prevalent it is.
Yeah, so it's actually 1 in 4 in Temora of the ages 15 plus are volunteering. And that's very significant compared to other towns and other regions in New South Wales. So it's 1 in 10 in other regions. So Temora, very community minded, very much get in and do it ourselves. Like we don't need to wait and get help. We will just have an idea and we really want to work towards it and make the best community that we possibly can. And that's anything from obviously the chambers I work with, they're all volunteers. So it's an all volunteer group. There's definitely some health groups. There's, they met up for a dinner in the park the other night and everyone in the community was invited to attend. Council do some great things like we're having a new residents barbecue on the weekend. So that's all of us going to attend just because we want to make everybody feel welcome in the community that we're in. But then you've got airports and museums and there's no shortage of opportunities for volunteering, but I think it really is a part to us and a way and a pathway into assimilating into our community because you get to meet people. You can have a good yarn with people and find those that you connect with and that are like-minded based on what you're volunteering.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that I hear back from people is that that's assimilation process, like getting to know your neighbor and your community and your town or, your shire makes the difference of whether or not you feel settled quicker or not. And, Temora has that reputation and title of one of the friendliest towns.
We do. Yeah. So friendliest and the most welcoming now too. So World Atlas named us one of the top 8 most welcoming towns in New South Wales, which was a real honour to receive. And you do see it. And I've brought my family, so my partner's not from here originally. He was from Wagga and Sydney, so very different for him to come back to a small town. And then my son, same thing. He's lived in cities his whole life, so this is his first country town. And he's done amazing at school. He's going and doing gaming workshops for free of an afternoon on a Friday, just things that he loves. So there's cooking workshops, there's things, anything that you can think of basically is on offer for the young people to meet like-minded people, and I think that's really helped him this year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I might do is just share my screen quickly. So when we're talking about Temora, you can see my screen there.
Everyone always asks me where we are, and I say if you go Sydney and Melbourne, and basically just we're in that point there. So
there we go. I zoomed out too far. So move the face. Yeah. So you've got the road to Sydney, and then a little bit further you've got Wagga, about just under an hour, depending on if there's any traffic, which there never is. And then Melbourne. So and Canberra is obviously about
just 2 hours. Yeah,
2 hours.
Short drive.
And so a lot of people will drive to Sydney for the weekend or pop down to Melbourne to watch the footy or have their shopping fix or theatre fix, pop to Canberra for the same reasons. And you also have an airport in Wagga, and as well as Albury, which is just here. And they fly to most capital cities and even regional towns with Bonza Airlines starting up. So it's really opened up a lot more connection, as well as those road and rail lines, which obviously drives industry and drives opportunity for businesses. Just tell me a little bit about what's on offer, or what are the plans for. Oops, did I just? Yep, is that stop share?
Yep. No.
What's on plan for the future for Temora in terms of what council and industries, I guess, got in the works that you're allowed to share?
So much. So a couple of things that come to mind. We've got a new hospital that's going to start building very soon. So that will be a great little not little, a great big hospital in the centre of rural communities that can also come to our town rather than trying to go to Wagga. So we talk about, like, there's not a maternity ward in West Wyalong, so all those people come to Temora for babies rather than travelling the hour and a half or plus that it would take them to get to Wagga. So it really will be a centre or for health, which will be wonderful. We do also have some inland rail projects that are kind of making its way around our shire, so through Illabo to the Wagga direction. And then we've got also a new railway precinct, which I'm most excited about. So it's really this area around the railway that the town's really not utilised or had anything in that space before. So they're looking at plans around how to develop that and make it a community area. So we're talking stages and yarning circles and walks, and there's a plan for a brewery to come up, which will put us on the map with, like, the licorice factory and that kind of thing. So tourism will increase as well, which is just wonderful for the town. So there is no shortage of tourism, but with the Temora Aviation Museum and the Royal Museum that we've got, but it's just, another thing that might keep people staying in town for a little bit longer.
Yeah, and I'd really encourage people to check out the Temora Aviation Museum. It's an impressive. I'm just going to share my screen again. It's an impressive museum. Tell us a little bit about Tam.
So I actually started my first job there as a cleaner. So that was something that I did a couple of hours a week each week. And since then I go out there and it's incredible how much it's grown in 20 years. Like, it is another hangar, and they've just got simulation, so you can actually get in and fly a plane. Yeah, there it is right there. So you can get in and give that a shot. They tell me you can't crash, so you can have a good go at the warbird flying, which is something that's incredible for a small community, and really something that you'd have to go to the city to experience otherwise, these simulators. So
Oh,
it's a wonderful hands-on interactive experience. They have flying days where the warbirds, they're some of the only flying warbird planes in Australia, and they're flying I think the weekend next coming up in, I want to say, October, but I'm probably, yeah, thank you. We'll find it, but it's they have the whole day of flying, which is just fabulous, and the kids love it, but the oldies love it. Anyone enjoys it. So looking forward to that one. What have we got? September. I was close. Oh no, end October.
April.
Yep. So there's a couple of days there.
Yeah, so you've got Warbirds Down Under in October, September
Yep.
showcase, April showcase. So you've got, if you are planning to go book accommodation now, or even,
Yes.
I believe with Warbirds they set up tent cities and stuff like that, or at least
That's right. There's just so many that come to town. So we've got some great RV parks now. Since I last lived here, there's been so much in that space of accommodation that's come about because of the aviation museum and the tourists that we get. So
yeah, amazing. So in terms of I guess what would your personal advice be for someone who is looking at making a country change to Temora?
I think the biggest surprise for me was how quick it happened once we decided to make the move. So I think be prepared for that. Once you make the decision, it all aligns really, really quickly. And that's to do with jobs. So I thought it might take us 12 months to find something that we both wanted. It took within a couple of months, and we were packing up, interstate moving. So the support that you get here from the community coming into town is fabulous. Like, you can call up the daycare centres and the schools, and they will tell you everything about what you need about buses and whatever it might be. They're happy to help with those questions to get you started. There's a Temora Community Centre, which is fabulous for any of the, if you have health needs or something that you might need in that respect, they'll be able to point you in the right directions. But even just popping into the library and or anywhere like that, the museums, the people that volunteer and work at those places are very knowledgeable about whatever you might be interested in, and how to get that into Temora. The kids are inundated with sports and cultural activities and arts, that it's hard to even keep the schedule at the moment running between sports. But we're doing dance and soccer and all sorts of stuff. So there is no shortage of anything that you want to do here in town. I think it's just the making that decision to make the move for a more balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do have so much to involve yourself in. I've heard from people their life is busier when they move to a regional town because they've just got so much to do socially as well as professionally. So if people are interested in finding out more about Temora, head to countrychange.com.au and the towns page for Temora. I should say Temora, it's Temora Shire, and you've got a number of little villages and towns within the Shire, which are absolutely gorgeous as well. So it's not just the main town of Temora. So depending on what kind of lifestyle change you're looking for, what kind of block, what kind of home, you can live in town in an apartment or like a little unit, or you can have your acreage if you're looking at having a hand at your farm life. But if you head to this page, there's some information, and we are actually getting a new website and launching that very, very, very soon. But that will have even more information around all of those vital services, education, community, and some links there, as well as some contact details for council, who will help you connect in with those communities that you need to, and even tell you where the gaps in the market are and get a little bit of a insider knowledge. Lauren, thank you so much for your time. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with our tree change enthusiasts before we sign off?
No, I think it's a great place to live for my age group, but also, bringing the kids here, they're enjoying it, they're living their best lives, I always say. But also, like, I meet a lot of people who are retiring and coming and just deciding that Temora is the place for them. So I don't think it matters what age group you're in. I think you'll really feel at home here and get the lifestyle that you might be looking for if you're looking for a country change.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
I'm sure everyone's gotten a lot out of it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.